Okay, let's. Welcome to FBB Forum. I'm very pleased to welcome the beautiful IFBB pro bodybuilder, Chelsea Dion. Chelsea has been competing since 2014 and won the Tampa Pro Show last year to qualify for the Ms. Olympia, where she placed in 9th place. And that was a year from the date that she earned her pro card in 2021, which is kind of cool too. And she's looking to get back to the O this year, so we'll have to stay tuned. And we'll talk a little bit more about that shortly. But welcome, Chelsea. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it. Such an honor.
Thank you. We both sat in on a preview show for Vancouver Island that FBBC put on. I really appreciated the opportunity to do that, and it was a great show.
Yeah, I love when they ask me to, hop on and do stuff like that. They're very great with, supporting us, and they've always been a big fan of me. So of course I love them in return. So
oh, they're terrific guys. And the fact that they cover female bodybuilding and there's not many people that do, I think it's really good.
Oh yeah, it's very important. We need people like you guys. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So my first few questions are about how you got started in bodybuilding. And I was wondering if you had an athletic or sports background when you first started.
Yeah, okay. So I do have an athletic background. I played softball basically my entire life,
Really?
as well as tennis. Once I stopped playing sports, though, out of college, I started partying a lot, and that's when I started to accumulate a lot of body fat. I was, drinking beer like every other night, eating whatever I wanted, and
Yeah.
next thing you know, I put on a bunch of weight, and deep down, it really did affect my self-esteem. And one night I actually got a bunch of text messages from a bunch of random phone numbers I didn't know, and they were saying a bunch of really awful things to me. And I just remember crying in bed that night and being so upset. And that's when I decided, I needed to change my life. I needed to change what I was doing, because whatever it was not it. So back then, that was like 2010, 2011. That's when they had the very popular Oxygen magazine.
Yeah.
So I always used to get those magazines, and I was like, okay, I know I need to like eat clean, whatever that means. So I bought the Jamie Easton Eat Clean book, and that's where I like learned to kind of like, change my lifestyle habits.
Really? That's great.
Yeah, and so I decided since I was living in my hometown and everybody there was just like, I was just over everybody there.
Yeah, I understand.
I need to move like to San Diego or San Francisco. And so there I was sitting on Craigslist, like looking for rent. And I found a place in San Diego and moved 2 weeks later. And that was really, really when I started my fitness journey, I would say.
Okay.
Because I was getting away from my small town, getting away from like that old party life, and getting into competing.
It's good that you made
into competing, but I was trying to just change my life and get the body I wanted, that like hot summer bod.
That's great that you made the move and changed your life like that too.
Yeah, but then, as I would like go through those magazines, they had one part in the back where it was like the competitors corner, and they would, showcase a few like the figure girls, I believe it was back then.
Yeah.
And like, I want to do that.
Oh,
I was like, that is like a muscle pageant, because I grew up doing pageants.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, when I was younger. So like,
Wow.
toddler, early childhood. And so I was like, ooh, that would be like a goal, would be like, to do this muscle pageant. So, living down in San Diego, I was just trying to like figure it out, find a coach or whatever it was. But all I knew is that I got like so addicted to how my body was changing and how strong I was getting and how I was learning so much in the gym. And
Yeah.
it just changed my life. And obviously, did I expect to be here? I didn't, but I'm so glad.
That's terrific. That's so cool. Yeah. Now you're one of the best bodybuilders in the world. That's really amazing, huh?
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's still, I feel like I have like imposter syndrome. Like it doesn't even feel
Really?
real.
Oh wow. No, yeah, you definitely belong. You're pretty amazing for sure. So
Thank
yeah.
you.
Now, who convinced you to do your first bodybuilding contest, or did you kind of convince yourself?
I committed myself. Yeah, I was like, this is awesome. Like, this would be
Yeah.
so cool. And just the more, that was kind of around the time when like Instagram started.
Hmm.
And so it was easier to kind of follow along with like people's fitness careers and stuff and
Yeah.
get more of an understanding of like exactly what competing was. Because
Hmm.
back then it was, only the magazines and
Yeah, that's true.
which is cool. I wish we still had magazines because that's always was a goal was to be on the cover of a magazine. So
We still got Glenn Young, doing
we
Amazon
do,
Fitness
we do. I,
Magazine. That,
I actually I've already we already have something set up.
oh, you do? Oh, terrific. Yeah, he does a great job. It's his magazine reminds me of the old Women's Physique World magazine from years ago
Oh
that was
wow.
dedicated to women's bodybuilding, and it hasn't been printed in years now. So, but yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, that's you're going to be on the cover soon, maybe. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna be shooting in September.
That's so cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Definitely look for
I-
that.
yeah, so I'm very excited.
Um, and when we talked a little bit before this, you said you first started competing in 2014, but then you took a 4-year break. Why did you take a
Yeah,
break like that?
so basically I got sponsored to do my very first show ever. A coach found me on Instagram and he
Hmm.
was like, "You have this potential. Like, I would love to help you get on stage."
Hmm.
And he was a great coach. But it was like if it fits your macros, style, dieting, which in a way was a really awesome way for me to learn a different way of dieting. Like you don't have to be like stick to this to the T. Like it helps me kind of find a little bit of balance with food.
Sure.
But so I did my first show in 2014.
Okay.
And at the time I was married, and like a week later, he went on his first deployment. And so for 9 months after the show, I was by myself, and I had zero self-control when it came to
Oh,
the show.
okay.
After my very first show, it was really, really hard.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I went from like 150 pounds up to like 210.
Really? Wow. Oh,
And so honestly, it took me almost 4 years for my body to kind of just like level out, I think. Because I think I did a little bit of damage to myself with all the eating I did.
oh, I see. Wow. Yeah.
I couldn't stop, man. I loved that. Cereal and Oreos and trail mix. I
We're,
would be in pain on the floor, wanting to throw up, but still eating cereal. Like it
oh
was
no.
it was really bad.
Wow. Oh no, that's not good.
Lesson learned for sure.
Yeah, we need tough lessons like that to make us grow, I think. Yeah.
I love food, man. I still do. It's still something that I struggle with. Not
Yeah,
necessarily like that, but I definitely love my food. I'm a foodie at heart.
that's awesome. Well, that's good. Yeah, that's tough when you're prepping though, trying to get lean and stuff, I bet.
Oh yeah, but I figured out ways to like make the food that I like so good, and then I
Uh-huh.
smoke a little weed and then I'm like, ooh, this is delicious.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So there are ways, but still like when I get to not be on a diet plan, I'm eating.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, eating is good. I think I'm too much of a foodie to do bodybuilding. I don't know if I could just halt the food or stick with chicken and rice for a while. It's just a little too much sameness.
Yeah, that's what the sauces are for. You got to have all the different sauces.
Oh yeah, that's true. Now, when you first started competing, did you have like a fitness role model? And do you have a role model now or the same person possibly?
Of course, back then it was like Dana Lynn Bailey because she
Yeah.
was like the first woman to really put out content like she did, where she
Hmm.
was trading hard and they were following her journey.
Hmm.
So she was really like the main inspiration.
Okay.
Um, but as people always ask me that question, and I also feel like I look at everybody as almost on like the same playing level as me,
Yeah.
like, in a stuck up way, but it's like I see someone, I'm like, I see that I could do that too. You
Yeah.
know,
Uh-huh.
I've never I guess, there are people that you look up to, but it's not like, oh my God, like I don't think I could achieve that. I've always saw them as like someone like me who just was able to do something that I wanted to do.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, that's cool. And
Hmm.
that, I mean, that probably helps your competitive nature and spirit, I bet.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah, that's terrific. Um, I was curious if you were nervous when you first got up on stage in a bikini, because I think, and I wonder if you get nervous these days. You look so confident on stage. So
Oh, I remember the first time I was pretty nervous, but um like for my pro debut, there was just like a little bit of nerves, but honestly, I love to perform and I love to like show off. I'm very much like a ham.
yeah,
So like, right before the Olympia, actually, before prejudging, I almost missed it. So I
oh
got
yeah,
that stage and they were like, number 7, you're in line right now. We're going up. So I didn't have any time to like think or anything. I literally just had to go turn it on. And
yeah,
that's, I think I kind of thrive in that sense, is like I can just go turn it on.
yeah,
I
sure.
love to put on a show for people. So
Yeah, you did a terrific job. Your posing at the Olympia was terrific.
thank you. I think also since I did so many shows last year, like by the time the Olympia came around, I was like, oh, okay, like this is just a bigger one.
Yeah. How many shows did you end up doing last year?
Technically I did nationals, I did Chicago, I did Tampa, I did Rising, and I did the Olympia.
Wow. I saw you compete in Chicago and in Tampa, and yeah, you really look great.
Thank you.
And those were very tough shows too, really
Yeah,
stacked.
they were. They
Yeah,
were. I was glad that some short, like, because the season was so slow in the beginning of the year.
yeah,
I had that like the 2 shows that I did were when things kind of really started to pick up, because
uh,
I didn't want to just win because nobody like showed up.
yeah,
I wanted to win because I actually had something,
yeah.
Um,
I agree.
after I won nationals, you have no idea where you stack up against pros from the local level to, or like national level to the pro level. So once I stood on stage with them, it was like, oh shit, okay, like I'm not that far behind.
Yeah, and you got to the Olympia in your pro debut year. That's really impressive. I think that's terrific.
Yeah, to take 9th place, I'm gonna ride that wave till I can't say that no more. Hopefully a higher placing next time.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that it's interesting. You mentioned the lack of competitors because at Vancouver Island last year they only had one competitor,
Yeah,
and this year at least they had eight, so it was more
yeah.
stacked, and it was much more interesting to have more competitors. So yeah, it makes a big difference, I think.
Hopefully, next year we'll have some more shows, because I think we're gonna be
Yeah,
showing up a little more this season.
I hope so
Um,
too.
yeah, I'm doing all I can to try to like, when I'm talking to promoters and stuff at shows, like when I was at the Emerald Cup last weekend, the promoter told me, he's like, we'd love to have female bodybuilding. We just need someone to like sanction the prize money or whatever it is. And it's like,
Okay.
all
Yeah.
right, let's get that. Let's
Yeah.
get the show on the West Coast. There's really no bodybuilding, like female bodybuilding shows on the West Coast.
That's true. Yeah, Vancouver is like the only one, I think. Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
but not
it's
in
not easy to
not in
get
the
to either.
yeah, not in the US.
Yeah, not in the US, which is weird since bodybuilding is so big in California.
I know you would think so. Try to I'm trying to put little seeds places, so hopefully it'll get us like another show somewhere. Who knows?
That would be great. At least, or even the legions get legions to bring back bodybuilding because that's in
Right?
Reno. At least that's pretty close. So
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. That'd
So
be a good one too. Because it's like later in the year.
yeah, it's like in November, I think. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it would qualify you for the next Olympia, basically. So
Yeah.
yeah. So my next few questions are about prep and coaching. And I was curious, what's the toughest aspect of competition prep for you?
It's definitely the diet aspect.
Yeah.
Once I can get in my groove, it's no problem. But if I like deviate off of it, it's hard for me to get back on it and stay on it. So I don't do cheat meals. I don't get cheat meals. Because if I know I'm gonna get one, it's like self-sabotage shitty.
I
So
understand. Yeah.
it's just best that I don't, like, especially after my Tampa win. I had like the tiniest little kind of break between Tampa and then starting to get ready again for Rising Phoenix. And
Yeah.
that was so hard
Really?
to get back on the
Hmm.
train. My
Yeah.
cravings were just like through the roof. And so it was really a lesson learned this last year, kind of like figuring out little tools here and there that could help me with, stuff like that. And we think we found it, but that was pretty hard.
I understand. Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't much time between those shows because that was in
No,
August and then Rising Phoenix was in September, right?
November. It was in November.
Oh, it was in November. Is
Yeah,
this
so
in,
it was like 12, couple, I don't remember how many weeks, but it gave me like a decent amount of time to like take the foot off the gas for a minute and relax, but then it was harder to get back on that.
yeah, I understand. Wow. I admire you for doing that. Like I said, I don't think I could pull that off.
Yeah, it was a really long year, but I'm really glad that I did the Rising Phoenix regardless.
Yeah,
Um, because it was just I was invited and I had not done my pro show yet. So they
yeah,
had no idea even what I was gonna show up like, yet they still invited me. So and then I went and ended up placing seventh without like peaking or anything. So I'm
that's great.
excited for hopefully this year to bring a really good package because I definitely want a top five finish.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that's a great show.
That'd be great.
I'm really happy that the Olympia is going to be in Orlando because I live in Tampa, so I'm definitely going to the Olympia this year. Yeah.
I went to the Olympia when it was in Orlando 2021.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2021. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And it was great there. Yeah.
it is. It's nice. I like it in Orlando. It's just convenient. It's like an hour and a
Yeah.
half drive for me. It's like,
Yeah, no. That's
um,
why I moved to Vegas though, because the Olympia was here.
yeah, you live in Vegas now, right?
Yeah.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah. Oh cool. Yeah. Um, I did have a question further down, and I could ask that now. I was just curious, where you live, do you find that to be a supportive community for bodybuilding? I think Vegas is, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. When I moved here, one of my girlfriends, Amanda Machado, she's a women's physique competitor.
Yeah,
She was
she's terrific.
out here. Yeah, and her and I actually met at the Olympia for 2021. We had been friends with each other on Instagram, and she actually had space in her Airbnb, and she was like, "Hey, would you like to?" She's like, "I don't even know why I thought of you, but would you want to come to the Olympia? We can do content, blah blah blah." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Absolutely." We met and we just like clicked. So, she was living out here, and she was like, "You guys need to come out here to Vegas.
Yeah.
Good for you." And so I told my boyfriend, I said, "Well, I think we should go to Vegas." And so we did. And it's been great. Um, we're training at Dragon's Lair, which is, one of the biggest gyms out here. And I
Yeah.
wish that me moving out here was what really allowed me to focus more on my bodybuilding and career.
Okay.
And I think that's what led to help me be more successful for sure.
That's terrific. That's great. Yeah, I would think Vegas would be a bigger or more supportive community for bodybuilding than San Diego, maybe.
San Diego was amazing. Like the gym that I was training at, TG, one of the best gyms ever. So much equipment. Um, it's just I was just done with California
Yeah.
and it was just time to move on. I wish TG was here in Vegas and I'd be totally set, but
Uh-huh.
it is what it is.
I need an outpost, maybe. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Now, I was curious, when you're in prep, like, is there a particular food item that you miss the most?
everything that's not on my diet,
Yeah, I understand.
everything. It doesn't matter what it is. But anytime that I can fantasize about a food, it is like usually burgers or like something sweet. Like I always am getting those like West Coast confection brownies after my shows, and they're just like
Oh,
brownie. I
nice.
can't do those anymore because that's what gets me in trouble, I think. So
Yeah, I understand. You gotta be careful, huh?
they send them to me every time, and I'm like, "Ah, I love and hate you guys so much."
Oh, that's awesome. They ship it to you?
Yeah, because that company is from San Diego, and I know
Oh,
the owner from the gym, and so he was like so stoked for me this year, and so he was always sending me gifts after my shows.
that's
Him
terrific.
and his wife, they were great.
That's great. Very cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Um, now, do you have a coach now?
I do. I worked with Hassim Nasir
Oh yeah.
since
Uh-huh.
the beginning of 2021.
Yeah, he's a well-known coach. Yeah. Do you like
Yeah,
working with him?
we've done very well together. So he asked me for 2 more seasons, and so I'm gonna give him 2 more seasons
Great.
and see what we can do. Yeah,
Yeah.
can't be mad. I mean, we went pro together, and then my pro season was so easy. Like I've never been that lean before, and it was like getting ready for Chicago was pretty easy.
That's
Um,
great.
I was like shredded for so long, I feel like. We didn't push anything too hard. I wasn't doing crazy amounts of cardio,
Okay.
nothing. So whatever he's doing with me is working.
That's terrific. Yeah. I was curious, have you ever worked as a bodybuilding coach or do you have any desire to do so later?
I prefer like more lifestyle clients.
Yeah,
The
sure.
whole bodybuilding thing, like I'm so submerged in it, like it's
Mhm.
enough.
Yeah, I
I mean,
understand.
I like to help people find balance and find, things that fit their lifestyle. What we do is very extreme,
Yeah,
so
that's true.
not everybody wants to do that.
Yeah, I understand. I was curious, what advice could you give to up and coming competitors who are looking for a good coach?
Do your research, ask around, um, and ask around even more because, everybody is going to have like different opinions about people. Everybody that is working with that coach is going to say, oh my God, it's amazing. So you need to find people who are going to give you like legit experience with that coach, whether they've worked with them before, find people who are currently working with them. Because I've worked with a few coaches who I've had people like warn me about, and I was like, oh, whatever. And they were like, right. So
Hmm.
you have to be careful. And if something is telling you to like trust your gut, like they're telling you something that you don't quite like think you should do, don't do
Yeah,
it.
I understand. That's really good advice. Yeah,
Yeah. And just to remember that like things take time,
yes.
lots of time. Like people expect to be professionals after their first year of competing.
Hmm.
And sometimes, most of the time, that's not the case. So
Yeah,
lots of time.
that's really good advice. Yeah. And I think you have to be careful. You have to be, yeah, I would think that a healthy amount of skepticism with your coach, and
Yeah.
and make
Do
sure
your
you,
own research as well, of
yeah.
course,
Hmm.
and ask questions.
Yeah, that's really important. Yeah, thank you. Now, in terms of last year, did you get feedback from the judges at the shows you went to in terms of where to improve your physique?
Yeah, so back and hamstrings were mainly what I was told.
Okay.
Everything else they liked, my conditioning and my stage presence. But I just need to bring up some hamstrings a little bit and just overall back. But everybody needs that.
Yeah.
So,
And how tall are you?
I'm 5'9", so I'm one of the taller competitors.
Yeah. Yeah, you
I
definitely
love it.
you stand out on stage for sure, being that
Yeah,
tall.
I
And
love being tall. I feel like it's an advantage, especially if we can hold the muscle that we need.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. That Julia Weitzel, who just competed in
Mhm.
Vancouver and
Yeah,
made her women's bodybuilding pro debut, she was really tall, taller than everybody else on stage, and she
yeah.
really kind of
Mhm.
stands out, being tall like that. Yeah,
It does. She was someone who I had followed in during her women's physique career because I always liked her shape. I was like, wow, this is the shape I like. And it's kind of funny that we're pretty similar in shapes.
yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost kind of similar look and like the dark hair and everything too. Yeah, it'd be cool to see you compete against her, maybe at
Yeah,
the Olympia.
absolutely.
Uh-huh.
I hope so.
Um, Now I was curious, what is your favorite muscle group to train, and what's your least favorite?
Definitely least favorite is legs.
Really?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm
Wow.
kind of like a bum knee a little bit. And so
Oh,
It's just, it's not the same as it used to be. I used to
yeah,
love to just to destroy my legs. But now, I still do that, but in just a different sense.
yeah,
But I
sure.
would just wish my knee was like 100% all the time so I could just go.
Yeah.
So that's my least favorite, and my most favorite is probably, I don't know, it's like a tie between chest and shoulders and back.
Oh, yeah.
All of those ones. I definitely love a good shoulder day though.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, your shoulders and back are pretty amazing. And your chest, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you. I've actually been trying to put in a lot of work on my chest this year, so I'm excited to see what it looks like on the
Yeah.
chest.
I think it was on maybe on FBBC, you talked about putting on, you're up to 210 now in your off season.
Like 215.
Wow. That's amazing. Wow.
It happened just all of a sudden. I was like, damn. Last year I didn't get over like 200 pounds, so um, we'll see how getting this extra 15 pounds off is going to be for getting ready.
Oh, I think you're going to look awesome. You're terrific.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully my stage weight is a little higher, so
Yeah.
we'll see. I was like 160, what was it? Like 168
Okay.
on stage.
Yeah. If you could do like Sherry and get like 10 pounds of muscle or something like that, that might be kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Couple pounds, I'll be good.
Um, now I was curious, do you kind of find it hard to keep up with the demands of social media? Because I think you have a lot of followers. So is it hard to keep up with their DMs and all their comments and stuff?
Um, Not necessarily to keep up with like the messages and comments, but just continuing to put out quality content
Hmm.
is something that I want to continue doing, and I
Yeah.
do find like is the hardest.
Hmm.
Um, like after the Olympia, I was just like so tired, and here I was trying to, catch up on my YouTube channel and all this stuff, and
Hmm.
that was a little like draining because mentally, like I wasn't in any place to want to like do any of that.
Yeah, I understand.
But I'm really enjoying like YouTube, and I'm always enjoying Instagram. I love to do creative photo shoots. I love to make content in general. So I'm
That's
very thankful that it's what I get to do.
That's great. No, that's terrific. Yeah. I'll make sure to include your Instagram and also your YouTube channel down below
Awesome.
for folks to check out. But I bet a lot of folks already have them, but just in case, they don't.
I got a couple people on there.
I was curious, how do you deal with like demands of the female bodybuilding fans? Because I know, fans can be kind of challenging sometimes. And I think you do have one of the bigger fan bases in the sport. So even before you turn pro, but what's that fan relationship like?
I'm very thankful for it. It's allowed me to have the lifestyle that I have to where I can focus 100% on this bodybuilding career.
Yeah,
So it doesn't, it's not any problem at all. The
terrific.
more followers, the better, the more fans, the better. And, I'm open to any suggestions or anything that they ever want to see from me. Because I want to continue like, providing quality and giving the fans what they want to see. And yeah, I'm
That's
very
great.
thankful for that relationship.
That's terrific. No, I'm glad to hear that. And I'm just a longtime fan myself, and yeah, that I think for most part the fans really, appreciate what y'all do, and we admire you um, just all the hard work that you go through to get on stage. So if we
Yeah.
can support you, that's a good thing for sure.
Yeah, because the fans keep bodybuilding alive. So
Yeah.
I would regardless keep doing what I'm doing, but I'm glad that, so many other people can appreciate it as well.
Yeah, we do. We definitely appreciate you. Yeah.
Because it's not like, I go clock in and work however many hours and then that's it.
Yeah.
You with us, this is our everyday lifestyle that's hopefully good enough for this win and that win. So
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, you're doing a great job. And I was just thinking you had just such a big fan base, like I said, before you turned pro, probably more than any other amateur I can think of. You just, yeah, you're really well known and just But the fans loved you, back then too. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I do have some people who've like watched my entire like journey.
really,
Um, mhm,
yeah, that's very cool. That's sweet. That's nice.
mhm.
Now, do you have a full-time job outside of bodybuilding? In terms of, we talked about the fan stuff a little bit, but I don't know if you have like a 9 to 5 kind of job too, or
No, just
no?
bodybuilding right now. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
very thankful for that.
that's great. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's hard to juggle that if you do have a 9 to 5er and trying to
Yeah,
juggle that with the demands of your fitness journey and everything.
it is. I have my hands in a lot of things. I have a lot of side hustles and stuff, so
Hmm.
it helps too. But I do have a few clients here and there, but just bodybuilding is what I've been able to do, and all because of the fans. So thank you guys.
That's
Can't
terrific.
say it enough.
That's great. No, yeah, well, we appreciate you for sure. I was curious, when you're out in public, do you like to show your muscles off, or do you prefer to stay covered up?
I love to show off.
Oh yeah. Oh, very cool.
Well, also too, it's like, okay, why would I cover up my legs? They're like my best asset.
Yeah, I know.
And then when I live in Vegas, it's too hot to wear like lots of clothing here anyways. So it is what it is.
No, that's great. Yeah. Do you get what's like, do you mind some of the negative stares or whatever, or commentary, or do you just kind of
Yeah, it
brush it
is
off?
hard sometimes for sure. Like if I'm kind of in my head already and say I walk past like a crowd and I can just like see the people in my peripherals like turn back around and look at me, sometimes I'll get in my head and I'll be a little bit negative, but most
Yeah,
of the time I'm able to like keep it real positive, like, oh yeah, like they've never seen a woman like me. I understand that like you don't just see women like us walking around. So
that's true.
people are just very curious, and I always am like keeping that in the back of my head. Like people are like they just saw something they don't ever see.
Yeah.
So, like China, she was like the eighth wonder of the world or whatever they called her. So,
Oh yeah.
um,
From the wrestling? Yeah.
uh-huh, yes,
Yeah, she's
I
amazing.
don't I don't mind it at all.
Okay, terrific. That's great. I think being in Vegas, you're just used to seeing people kind of unusual
Yeah,
people or unusual dress and everything too. So
for
yeah.
sure.
Um, I was curious, if you were in a leadership position with IFBB or NPC, what would you do to improve the sport of bodybuilding, and how would you make the sport better?
Interesting. I feel like what would be really great is if there was some type of way that we could have some type of protection for us, like professional athletes, as far as like medical, like
Mm,
something that maybe like we have that could help cover as far as like some type of medical insurance thing to help us make sure that we are able to have, whatever we need at any type of expense.
hmm.
But I don't know. I would definitely make sure there would be more female bodybuilding shows.
Yeah. Oh, I know. That would be really nice. And
No,
we've
that's like a really like low, that's a difficult question though, because there's just like, I understand the logistics of a lot of things. And so
mhm.
it would be like, okay, yeah, like make sure we have more stage time, but okay, how would that affect other things?
Yeah, sure. It's distressing though to see a few shows get dropped, like Puerto Rico recently, and
Yeah, it's a real bummer. So who knows? Eventually one day when I'm done competing, I would like to stay inside of like, the whole competing air like industry and stuff. So who knows? Maybe I do help with promoting or stuff like that. So who knows? Maybe one day I can eventually help make the league better.
that'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. Um, and or be a judge too. That'd be kind of cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now do you kind of find it tough mentally with like a body dysmorphia when you go from lean competition phase to bulking phase? Because I think, a lot of women struggle with this.
Oh, it's the hardest part of competing,
Hmm.
hands down. So
Hmm.
after the Olympia, I like that Sunday, I got got so sick. I got like that Olympia plague that was going around.
Oh
It was
yeah, that
about
was
3.5
bad.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent about 3.5 weeks out of the gym.
Wow.
And I went from ninth place in the world to feeling like I don't even look like I work out.
Really?
So
Wow.
it's taken me the good first 3, almost 4 months of the year to kind of like feel normal.
Really?
It's been hard to get used to this off-season body, and it's been really
Hmm.
difficult mentally for me.
Hmm. Sure.
But it is just part of the game. It's part of, just what I have to go through and a lesson learned.
Hmm.
I allowed myself to like, since I was sick, I was like, oh, I'll eat when I want then, and blah blah blah. Like I should have kept it more on track, but here we are.
Yeah,
So so but no, it was very, 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 very hard
I
on
bet.
on my
Yeah.
mental. Still, it is still very hard. I mean, being 215 pounds is not the easiest thing,
Yeah.
things aren't very comfortable. My clothes don't fit like I want them to, and I spent all last year in crop tops. So
Yeah.
I barely do that right now and feel comfortable. So I'm excited to definitely start prepping here again soon for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That was kind of bad with the Olympia, like that plague that went around. It seemed like everybody got sick and it just
Yeah,
spread quickly. And
I was doing back-to-back photo shoot, and first photo shoot, I'm like, my throat's a little tingly. And then that second photo shoot, I like couldn't function. It hit
oh,
me so hard. And then I was driving home and I knew I had a fever, got right into bed and didn't wake up till like Tuesday.
wow, really? Wow.
And it was crazy.
It's good that you were local at least, because
Yeah, for
if you
reals, I
hadn't
couldn't
traveled,
imagine traveling like that, especially if it was like 5-hour flight. No, hell no.
oh gosh, that would be awful. Yeah, that wouldn't be much fun at all.
I didn't think about that.
No, that's good that you're local. That worked out really good for you. But yeah, I'm sorry you got sick like that. But everybody, I
Yeah.
think everybody got sick at that show, unfortunately.
Yeah, it really, really threw a wrench in my off-season plans.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, I had all these plans for this like great rebound and nope.
No, yeah. Life will throw those wrenches at you sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just work harder these next few weeks. It's okay.
That's great. Yeah, very cool. Well, we're running a little low on time. Is there anything I should have asked you that I neglected to though?
No, I mean, I got to talk about a lot.
Very cool. Thank you so much. Would you mind doing a quick flex for me? And you got to talk too, so it'll do the camera on you.
Okay. Well, first, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. And I wanted to say thank you to my sponsors, Blackstone Labs. You can use code Big Red to save. Also, Amino Asylum. You can also use Big Red. And my amazing suit sponsor, Rachel from Radiant Physique Wear. She's made all of my beautiful suits and she's made me look like a complete star. So I love her. And also Body Bling jewelry as well. And I just want to say thank you for having me on, David.
Thank you so much. And we'll include
Mhm.
the links to the sponsors you mentioned too down at the lows.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely in those codes. But thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. You're
No
wonderful and
problem.
looking forward to seeing you compete this year. I think you're going to be awesome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Let's see. Oh,